If you think of Lexus as a car company that only makes SUVs and sedans like this GS350, you would be wrong. Introducing the 2015 Lexus RCF. This is the first true coupe in the Lexus lineup since 2000. That's when the SC300 and SC400 went out of production, and since then they haven't had a true coupe, but now they do, and this thing is ready to compete with the best from Germany, the best from America, and the best from Japan. Those coupes were followed by a couple of convertibles, the SC430 from 2001 to 2010, and the ISC from 2009 to present. However, these hardtop convertibles were seen by the enthusiast world as softer, more comfortable cars for older buyers. Lexus, like all brands, is trying to attract younger buyers, and they are putting a lot of stock in the RC lineup, which includes the RC350, the RC350 F Sport, and this top-of-the-line high-performance RCF. This is an all-new platform for Lexus. Well, sort of. It's actually a hybrid of three existing platforms, the GS, the IS, and the ISC. But all you need to know is that this is an all-new model, and it's extremely rigid. That's very important because you need that on the track. So rigid, in fact, that it could be made into a convertible, but my sources at Lexus tell me they're not going to do that. They want to keep the purity and integrity of a true high-performance coupe. The RC is more than ready to compete with the heavily contested entry-level performance luxury segment, which includes the BMW 4 Series, Audi A5, S5, and RS5, Mercedes-Benz C-Coupe, Infiniti Q60, and Cadillac ATS Coupe. As you can see, the styling for the RC lineup is aggressive and athletic. Everything from this big bulging hood to all the massive flares around the car. Now, up front we have this massive spindle grille. In fact, it's the largest spindle grille in any Lexus vehicle. You also have these massive air intakes. That's designed to keep this 5-liter V8 engine cool. And the signature L-shaped day running lights. There are several distinguishing design cues that differentiate the RCF from the RC350 and RC350 F Sport. For starters, that spindle grille is unique, as are the massive air intakes. There are also functional side vents and hood vent for additional air intake. Lexus did a great job of making the RC look more upscale thanks to an elongated design, but make no mistake about it, the focus is on performance. The carbon fiber roof adds a lot of sportiness to the RCF, especially in light colors like this ultra white. As much as I like the front of the RCF, this 3/4 ass shot is my favorite. I love everything they've done here, starting with these taillights. They're kind of slim, but they wrap all the way around into the rear quarter panel. That's nice styling. I like how they've taken the bumper here and kind of added this little edge here. That really helps. You can always tell that this is an RCF because you're going to see the quad exhaust pipes, 2 on each side. You also have this massive F badging that's only going to be on a true F, not an F Sport, but a true F. And of course, this integrated spoiler I think is brilliant, but it's especially brilliant in the carbon fiber. It kind of stands out and contrasts. It doesn't work with every color, but it really works on this white color. The carbon fiber rear spoiler is functional. Depending on the mode you're in, if you're in eco mode at 80 miles per hour, it will activate automatically. If you're in any other mode, it'll activate at 50 miles per hour. You also have the option to push a button on the lower left side of the instrument panel to activate it manually. Another design cue I like that Lexus has incorporated into the RC is this kind of 3-sided rear deck lid. It's a little reminiscent of the Scion FRS, but that's where the similarities stop. Under that massive bulge of a hood is a massive engine. This is a 5-liter V8 engine that produces 469 horsepower and 387 pound-feet of torque. This is an all-new 32-valve V8 engine for Lexus, codenamed the 2UR-GSE for all you car geeks out there, and it's a blast. It's made it to an 8-speed Sport Direct Shift transmission. With that much horsepower, you need a lot of stopping power, and Lexus has answered the call. Up front, you have 6-piston Brembo brakes that are 14.96 inches in diameter. In the back, you have 4-piston Brembo brakes that are 13.5 inches in diameter. For those of you who don't know a lot about brakes, those are pretty big sizes. We asked Lexus how come they didn't put carbon ceramic brakes on this car, and they gave us a very brilliant answer. Number one, it adds too much cost. Not only is it about 8 to 10 grand up front, the replacement cost is extremely expensive. And the second answer is This car just doesn't need it. When you have this much stopping power, why add that extra expense? Oh, I almost forgot. You guys probably want to know just how fast this car is. And before we get into that, let's talk fuel economy. In the city, the RCF gets 16 miles to the gallon. On the highway, 25 for a combined 19. Now, the reason you want to know that is when you're trying to convince your wife or your parents to let you buy this car, you can tell them it's practical, it gets decent fuel economy. But the real numbers you want are 0 to 60. And this car gets there in 4.4 seconds. Top speed, 170 miles per hour. Let's talk interior. I like what Lexus has done here. They've really kind of went through this horizontal design change a few years ago, and I think it works. It works in all their cars. It really works in the RCF. The instrument panel is good. What I don't like is the placement of the infotainment screen. So you're sitting here and you have this ledge over here that kind of comes up. It's hard to see the bottom third depending on how tall you are. Also this remote touch, which is something new for Lexus. It's really cool when the car's standing still, but when you're on a bumpy road and this car's very stiff, it's kind of hard to find the right radio station. So you play with it, you tell me what you think. We found it a little cumbersome to use, especially on bumpy roads. We love the gauges. What Lexus has done is incorporate a smaller analog speedometer, about 60% the size of the TFT digital tachometer. And that's how a sports car should be. The tach should be big because that's what's important. The two most important things about the interior of the RCF are these paddle shifters, which you're going to need on the track, and drive mode select, which you're also going to need. So you have 5 modes. Eco, which you should never be in this car. Normal, good for normal driving. You have Sport S and Sport S Plus. And there's a 5th mode called Expert, and that's the least invasive mode. That's the one you'll want on the track. Lexus told us there's actually a secret 6th mode. They didn't tell us how to get there, but they said you need FBI clearance in order to access it. No backseat at this segment's any good. They all suck. And luckily, the RCF is no exception. As you can see, unless I move this seat way forward, no one's getting back here. There should be a warning sign for amputees and contortionists only. Actually, what these should be used for is to put an extra set of tires for going on the track. And you know what? That's where we're headed. So this is the 2015 Lexus RCF, not your normal test drive. So they put us on this track, Monticello Race Club in New York. Beautiful 4.1 mile track with over 400 feet of elevation. Brilliant track, very technical, and really an opportunity to showcase what the RCF can do. We're here to test the braking, the handling, acceleration. So one of the concerns that some people had is that this car doesn't have carbon ceramic brakes, but it's got massive Brembos, almost 15-inch up front, just under 14 in the back. And we've been driving this all day. Haven't noticed any brake fading yet, so obviously the brakes are holding up. Steering is very precise. Love these seats too, they really hold you in. I'm really impressed with what Lexus has done here. This is by far the most impressed I've ever been with any Lexus vehicle. And I'm not counting the LFA because that's just not a regular vehicle by any stretch of the imagination. But there's a lot of LFA in this car. I think it's going to go a long way to helping the brand attract younger buyers, making it feel sportier. This is going to be a true halo car for Lexus. Pricing for the RCF starts at $62,000. Key packages are the $4,400 premium package, which includes heated and ventilated front seats and carbon fiber interior trim. The critical package to get is the $5,500 performance package, which includes carbon fiber roof, carbon rear wing, and torque vectoring rear differential. Unfortunately, the premium package is a prerequisite for the performance package, so expect to pay about $10,000 if you want the cool carbon fiber roof. So you want to put me on the spot and force me to make a recommendation. Well, I've given it some thought, and here goes. In 4th place, I'm going to put the Audi RS5, only because it's an all-wheel drive vehicle, the rest aren't, so it goes to 4th place. In 3rd place, I'm going to put the Mercedes-Benz C63 because Honestly, that's more of a muscle car and less of a track car. So at the end of the day, you've got the RCF versus the all-new M4. Luckily, I've driven both cars extensively and had a good chance to take them on the track, take them on the streets. And I'm going to go with the Lexus RCF. And here's why. Number one, reliability. I just have more faith in the Lexus brand down the road. Not in the first 3 years, 4 years necessarily, but later on down the road, I do have a little more faith in this particular brand. Next is the difference between a V8 engine and a turbocharged 6. I love the way the M4 drives. What I didn't like is how much artificial sound they had to pump into that vehicle to make it sound like a V8. And at the end of the day, it sounded like a poorly produced video game. Let's be honest, the difference between fourth place and first place in this segment is a few tenths of a point. You know, this is a great time to be in the market for a high performance coupe like this RCF. If you have between $60,000 and $75,000 to spend, you have more options than we've ever had. And I really like what they've done here. All those other cars, they're brilliant too. Hopefully you've got the money to get behind the wheel of one.